And we're live for the NRLOA James and Dean Wickard Concord Shootout for the first day. What's up, guys, and welcome to the channel of the NRLOA Official. I am not an Napa fan, no, I am Alex Bonsignor, and I am here for the NRLOA James and Dean Wickard Concord Shootout. It's my own type of thing I did to commemorate James and Dean Wickard. If you don't know, they were tough NRLOA competitors, and unfortunately, they had lost their lives, I believe, in 2015. And since then, I've created this race to commemorate them and also create some good short track racing the way they would have wanted it for the NRLOA. Now, there is some talk that they could move tracks next year. So far, from the straw poll vote, looks like there could be a mix of Southern National, Bowman Gray, and South Boston. So on day two, after the feature is finished or everything else, I'll put a straw poll link in the description of that video so that way you guys can vote for yourself, see where you want it to be next year. I know Concord is still on the list. Like, if you want it to be retained to Concord, let me know by then. It's okay, guys, either way, more or less. But yeah, that's pretty much set. So Joe Jefferson, first pole of the season for him. We're ready to go for Heat 1 here, or Group 1, Heat 1. There are going to be 3 heats. 29 drivers make the field. And the way it's going to go is that Heat 1 and 2 are going to let the top 10, or Heat 1 and 2 are going to have, or yeah, all 3 heats are going to have the top 8 move on into the feature, and then the LCQ for this one will bring in the final 5. So the top 5 would finish in that race. Let's get to your starting grid for today's race, or first heat race. Joe Jefferson starts on pole, Henry Williams right next to him, followed by Cameron Shine and Daniel Voiles, followed by Jake West and Nick Michelini making his return to the NRLOA, running this event usually. Then Eric Monaco making his first appearance in the modifieds, or in the tour types, and you have Julius Anderson, followed by Benny Watson and Eli Bright, then Joe Jefferson and Freddie Soto, then Dan Park and John Hankins, your near champion by a mere 1 point off. And then starting in the last row today, his impressive top 10 finish, not so impressive qualifying run, Ryan Schuler, although he does look promising in the practice sessions. Now, you guys usually know the drill for the NRLOA James and Dean Wickard Concord Shootout. This is the one race that, or the one exhibition race that I run that does not display the caution flag. I did it the first time, and there were too many cautions, and the race ended under caution. And ever since then, I had not done a caution for the event. I had not thrown another caution or hadn't turned the cautions on for the race. So this is going to be interesting because, for one, this will definitely spark up a lot of racing and hopes for drivers that you don't think would get the win. And also, for two, underdog stories. We saw Elijah Gordon last year, or the last time the James and Dean Wickard Concord Shootout ran. He had no hope, but a big crash stacked up half the field, or at least the rest of the field, and he went on and scored the win. Now, to do a quick little shout out to people in the chat. Hello, Eli Bright. Welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, your car not starting where you had hoped. Oh, that's not your car. There's your car. Not starting where you had hoped, but hopefully you can make that up in the race. Like I said, no cautions for the heat race or the main race. So this is going to really be good. We're coming down to the last 15 seconds before the command to fire the engines comes to life. We're ready to go, and we are ready to see who makes the race. Let's go to the command. Oh, there is no command after. Here we are. The command has been given. The cars are rolling off here. Joe Jefferson will be the one to lead the field to the green. You saw him in the front runnings this year, but never really taking the checkered flag. He could make it here tonight, but just remember, he has to finish only 8th to make the show. Here we go. Pace cars coming off the pit lane here. It's anyone's hope to make this race, and it's going to start with heat race number 1. Green flag, they're racing. Already they're stacking up everywhere, and Henry Williams is going to make contact going down the back straightaway. It doesn't look like anyone's going to lose a spot. Actually, I think a few people might have lost a spot. Coming to the line here. Yeah, you can see a lot of these guys drop back. Eric Monaco, his first appearance on the tour, not really running the way he wanted to. Just remember that if you do get knocked out, you do have a shot in an LCQ. Hopefully the field doesn't stack up by then. But Joe Jefferson currently out in front here in Heat 1. We have a battle for second here between Voiles and, well, it was between Voiles and Julius Anderson, but now Anderson's going to look for the lead here as he's closing in on Joe Jefferson. Coming across the line here, Joe Jefferson doesn't need to slip up at this moment, but he hits the wall. So does Julius Anderson. So it does keep the cars in line. And whoa, huge crash. Voiles up on his side, up on his lid, and he's flipping. And he's on his roof. That is unfortunate for Daniel Voiles. Looks like he may not make the race after all. Now look at our drivers on the bubble here of the top 8. John Hankins is just barely fighting on that bubble spot, but it looks like Eric Monaco may just get him here on this lap. We're entering lap 6 now. We're past halfway, and Hankins is going to get in the wall. That's going to give the advancement to Eric Monaco here. You can also see Eli Bright. He's fighting his way to make sure he advances into the show without trying to fight in an LCQ. But doesn't look like it's going to be much. And in the wall, Eric Monaco goes. Eli Bright on his lid. Hard hit for Henry Williams as well. And that's going to end Henry Williams' race. Meanwhile, there's Ryan Schuler. He's up in the 9th spot. Michelini up in 8th. Michelini needs to mess up in order for Schuler to advance into the race. But it doesn't look like it. However, there's Eli Bright right there. He's going to slow up Michelini, and that's going to close the gap. And we have a problem with the pole sitter of Joe Jefferson. It looks like he might need to go to the LCQ. This is the final lap. I believe that was Jay Jefferson in the 07, not Joe Jefferson. But anyway, Joe Jefferson's going to come across the line, win Heat 1. And we're going to look at the battle for the bubble here. I actually don't know who or where is going to finish 8th, but Ryan Schuler makes it into the show. I'm going to take a look at the results here, see who makes it and who doesn't. Okay, so here are the results as they stand. So Joe Jefferson's going to move on into the race. First time he's going to make a run into the Concord Shootout. Then it's going to be Dan Park, Benny Watson, Freddie Soto, Cameron Shine, Nick Michelini, Ryan Schuler, and Julius Anderson. Even though he did retire from the race, he's going to make it in to the show. They're going to have to roll out a backup car, though, so that's going to be unfortunate. But the drivers that did not make it, Eric Monaco, Jay Jefferson, John Hankins, Eli Bright, Henry Williams, Daniel Voiles, and Jake West, all going to have to go to the LCQ here for this one. So that's going to wrap up Heat 1 for the moment. I'm going to stop sharing screens here for a second, so that way I can set up the cars for Heat 2, get everything ready for all this. So please hold while we wait a little bit to get everything set for this event. Hopefully I'll get some people in here. So that way, you can stay a bit entertained and it's not just going to be me this whole time, but, anything is possible. So, yeah. All right, so we have the grid set. Those that are in and those that aren't for the event. So I'm gonna make that real quick. But yeah, Freddie Soto in his debut for the NRLOA on my tour, he makes it. Dan Park makes it. Very unfortunate though for those that didn't make it. So yeah, we have the first heat race settled and done with Group 1. Now we're going to move on to the second group. That's going to consist of 18 drivers that will go out on track and get all that. Sorry if I was a little quiet there, guys. I had to set up the grid, the final grid order for the Concord Shootout. So I do apologize for that if kept it a little too quiet. But anyway, we're prepared to go for the second heat race. This is going to really shake things up because we have more than or we have more than just 15 drivers. So, like I said, top 8 will move on. And then the rest, they're going to go to the LCQ. I think there's also a shot with the LCQ that there's going to be one group and another. So, who knows? If there are 2 groups at an LCQ, 2 drivers will move on from the first one, and then the top 3 from the last one. But let's see from there. Like I said, this is day 1, guys. Napa fan not here at the moment, but that's okay because, everything will improve throughout. So, yeah. But the grid is lined up. We're set and ready to go for heat number 2 of this event. Let me present to everyone real quick. But yeah, we are set to go for heat number 2 for this race. Get to our grid real quick. As you can see the grid right there a bit. But anyway, yeah. So it looks like Oscar Isaac is going to start on pole. Alex Boston, you're right next to him. Let's get to your grid real quick to show you who's starting where. So like I said, your pole sitter, Oscar Isaac, he may win, he may not. We saw in the last heat race that the pole sitter doesn't always win, but can't be too sure. Alex Boston starts to his outside. Then it's David Kenyon, I believe, or Darland Kenyon. I apologize for getting the name wrong. There's so many people with the name David and then Darland just kind of just set in there. But then you got Greg Lee, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., your champion. He's in this. He is hoping to move on just off the bat. Then it's Ace Garcia, followed by Igor Barreto, and then David Richardson. I got that one right. I believe a relative for James Richardson. Then you got Philip Pura, And then there's Richard Johnson in the 41 running. Like I said, he ran the 4 this year, but for this event, he's running the 41 because, we already have a 4 in the field, and you saw that in the first heat. But then you got Al Legacy and Zach Ryan, followed by Ray Sayre Jr. and Ben Crotch, followed by Nathan Stapleton and Ergel Arvin Alonso. Then it's Carla Cobb and Michael Canto to round out the grid for this event. We have 18 cars on hand for us, and I believe it's going to be a good one. Darlin Kenyon is the first. He's going to make his first appearance on my channel. And also Ace Garcia making his first appearance, as well as David Richardson, Ray Sayre Jr., and a few others. I believe they were in the earlier first heat, but can't be too guaranteed. Hello, Blaine Keys. Welcome to the stream. Hopefully you guys will enjoy these heat races. Remember that only the top 8 for the first heat, for the first 3 heat races, can move on into the main. We already have our first top 8 making it in. And now we're ready to go for our second. Then, of course, there's the LCQ. If we happen to have 2 LCQs because the grid or the pit lanes aren't really enough for the field, then it's the top 2 that will advance into the main from the first LCQ, and then the top 3 to the second LCQ. So hopefully you guys and gals watching, if your driver is out there, make sure you hope that they make it on into this race, so that way they won't have to battle in the LCQ. Anyway, if you watch the stream a little earlier on, we had a hectic race going on. I believe 7 drivers finished the race, or were accounted for in the official racing standings on the lead lap, and a retired driver, Julius Anderson, managed to advance on. However, that team will have to go to a backup for tomorrow, which is very unfortunate for them in this event. But yeah, hello Cody Smart, hello Blaine Keys, hello Gamers Outlet. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the stream and this race. We are preparing here for the next quick minute for this event to go on. Hopefully you guys will enjoy this race. Now, I know a lot of you, you say you don't got a lot of these drivers. I believe it's only the modifieds, the tour types, that have a large enough field where they will have to go through heat races. The rest, I believe, are within proportion or not as much. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. Let's get down to the second one. I know for this one today, it's only the tour types that are getting their kind of day out in the light, because these are heat races and not anything else. The main events are going to be tomorrow. I believe today we may have just a few practice sessions in this stream. Who knows? But this all depends on me. Hopefully you guys can be prepared for this. But anyway, engines are fired. They're rolling off here. Oscar Isaac is your pole sitter, but the pole sitter doesn't always win. And I think I covered that earlier, although if you didn't join earlier, I said that the pole sitter doesn't win, and we saw that from the first event when Jay Jefferson unfortunately crashed out and had to go to an LCQ. I had hoped that he would have won it by then, but it looks like he didn't. But the pace car is off. Here comes the field down to the green flag for the second heat race. Coming down here, Oscar Isaac takes the field to the green just barely, but remember, first turn is always calamity corner. You can look at Greg Lee up there. He's going all the way high, and he takes out Ace Garcia and a few others, and Greg Lee is on his lid, and he's already out. He will already have to go to an LCQ. Ace Garcia, David Richardson, they make their first appearance in the tour, and unfortunately, looks like they're out already, and so is Zachary Fitzwater. Fitzwater's been taken off the track. He doesn't want to go to an LCQ. A champion just does not like to go to an LCQ. But moving on here, you can actually see big crash up here. Oh, wow, that's a huge crash. I said it involves a pole sitter. Involves a pole sitter. But we're looking at we're going to look at the leaders at the moment. I believe your leader right now is, yeah, it's Racer Jr. making his first appearance on my channel, and he's already just leading the field here, coming to the halfway mark of the race. Virgil Alonso, he's in second. Look at Richard Johnson in third. He's going to try and challenge Alonso for the second spot. There's Zach Ryan following suit. Look here. There's Philip Papura. I believe Fitzwater just made it through. Actually, no, Fitzwater is a lap down. We have a crash here between second, third, and fourth, and Papura is going to sneak by. Racer Jr. He's usually racing on more of the northeastern parts. Came down here, first appearance. He's leading the field. That's all I can say. It's quite a hectic run here for the transfer spot. Bonsignor just barely clung onto the transfer spot there, but it looks like anything can go here as we enter the last 2 to 3 laps here in the race. We're going to not really focus up front because the leader's practically gone from there, but we're going to look here in the transfers. So far right now, it's the 46 of Igor Barreto battling for that transfer spot. Looks like he may get it. Zach Ryan's out of contention. He gets taken out by Ben Crotch. Not a smart move by Crotch there. He's completely wiped himself out of contention. Bonsignor's part of the transfer now. He's going to go for Al Lagasse. Lagasse's in the transfer spot. Can he hold on? He will. I believe that was the last lap and the race could be over. And it is. And Lagasse snuck his way in to the event. But Ben Crotch, that was not a bright move for him. He is knocked out to the LCQ. Richard Johnson, Oscar Isaac, they make it. Sergio Alonso, though, one spot shy, one more lap, he would have transferred automatically. Let's take a look at your results here for this event to see who advances where. And good thing, though, only 4 drivers retired, although they will have to go to a backup, so that's not good for them. But here are the drivers that advance on. Racer Jr., first appearance on my channel, or on the tour, I should say, not my channel, because this is the NRLOA channel. I keep thinking that it's the Sim Racing Central channel. I apologize for that, but Racer Jr. first appearance wins the heat and will move on to the main. So will Phil Papura. Richard Johnson, Darlin Kenyon in his first appearance will already move on. Igor Barreto, Oscar Isaac, Alex Bonsignor, and just sneaking in is Al Lagasse. Unfortunately, though, the drivers that will not make it were Sergio Alonso, Ben Crotch, Zachary Fitzwater Sr., your champion, unfortunately will not advance on right there. Off the bat, Zach Ryan, Ace Garcia, Greg Lee, Michael Canto, Carla Cobb, Nathan Stapleton, and David Richardson all will have to transfer to the LCQ in order to make it into the race. So that's going to be heat number 2 off the list right there. Don't forget that we also are going to show the LCQs here. So definitely don't forget that because, you know, who doesn't love an LCQ? That's going to be one heck of a race, I can tell you that much. But anyway, so stay tuned. We'll be back with the third and final heat race, then the LCQ. And we're back for the third and final heat race of it. All set and ready for the LCQ as we prepare for the event. 19 drivers on the grid. We're going to see who will take home the victory in moving on in this last event before we move on to the LCQ. Here is your pole sitter, Hans Muller, at number 65. Ready to go here for this event. Let's get to your starting lineup and let's see who starts where. So Hans Muller starts on pole, then it's Taylor Brian Price, followed by Fisher Yee and Steve Newman making his first appearance in the modifieds. Usually you'll see him in the Canadian part of the NRLOA, but now he is running on the modifieds for this event. Dane Amon and Bruno de Barros, followed by Josh Stanger and Jonathan Rains. Then it's Justin Roberts and John Hamill, Elijah Gordon and Adam Lewis, followed by John Hunt and Daniel McMillan in the 89. Then it's Laura Delano and Marcus Sachi, Bailey Kenyon and Johnny Leonard. And rounding out the field, number 95 of, I believe it is, let me check the name real quick. Sorry for the little bit of unprofessionalism. 95 of Derek Hamill. So the grid is set for the final heat race. At this point, it's basically a winner will move on stint. But we don't know who's going to move on just yet, considering the amount of racing we still have to do. We have another 10 laps ahead of us. Elijah, you don't remember being in the event because the grid is set by how the finale was worked, followed by a few extra cars lined up. So if you are confused, that's why. But anyway, actually, Elijah, the grid is set by how the entry works. So, of course, the higher entry was Group 1 for Heat 1. And Heat 2 is the mid entry. And then last group was the more rear end of the entry list. Anyway, Elijah has a lot of stuff. But anyway, yeah, let's prepare for this one. Ready to go. We're gonna do a quick little skip ahead to the event because it's taking forever. Anyway, here we are for the race. Cars are fired up, roar to life, and they're gonna roll off here for the final heat race. This is the final heat race. Top 8 move on in this one, and then it's on to the LCQ or LCQs, depending on how many drivers will set the grid. 65 of Hans Muller taking the field to the green in the number 65. This is going to be good. Let's see who moves on into the finale event. All right, Elijah Gordon making the confirmation that Josh Cornish is going to be running 93, not Elijah Gordon. Elijah Gordon not in this event. It's going to be Josh Cornish. Anyway, green flag still. Fisher Gee battling for the lead. He's going to take it. There's Bruno de Barros. But he's going to get dumped by Fisher Gee. And off the cut line like that. We're going to look at your cut line here. And John Hunt's part of that cut line. But so far through the field as we look, Steve Newman is in second, Josh Stanger in first. Dane Amon hoping to make the race right off the bat. Taylor Brian Price dropped from fourth all the way down to seventh within that lap. But the cut line goes to Bailey Kenyon so far as he's hoping to get the race lead.
You derped on pronunciation. It's Cornish, not Cornish.
Cornish. Got it. Anyway, moving on so far, Bailey Kenyon part of that cut line right there, but now it's going to be Laura Delano in the number 69. Hopefully she can make the event, but so does Johnny Leonard and others. Looking deeper into the field. Josh Cornish not going to make the grid, it seems. He's all the way back here in the 18th spot. Very underperformance today for him. May say Elijah Gordon, but Elijah Gordon confirmed that Josh Cornish is going to be in the 93. And, oh, man, Cornish just, he had nowhere to go in that one. And Hans Miller not going to make the race. But Bailey Kenyon taking the white flag. He's just dominated, or he's taking the white flag. He was eighth at the cut line. He's leading so far. We have another first-timer taking their trip to the winner's circle of the heat race. Off of four, seems like that. Bailey Kenyon makes the show. We're going to have to look at the cut line, see who made the event. I believe that the driver to make the event, just barely, it's Josh Stanger. Just barely, he made the event. Adam Lewis locks himself in. So does John Hamill. Hamill making his first appearance. Sachi makes it, I believe. But I don't think Steve Newman, unfortunately, he was your front row. He ran second at one point. Unfortunately, he's going to have to resort to the LCQ. Take a look at your results. So Bailey Kenyon, John Hunt, Taylor Brian Price, Marcus Sachi, Laura Delano, John Hamill, Adam Lewis, and Josh Stanger all make the race. And the best part is the top six in that race all have had barely or no experience on the tour. It was I believe the first. These drivers here have only either just started making their debut at this race or have already had a race under their belts, and they have already moved on to the event. But the drivers, unfortunately, that will not make it. Justin Roberts was close, but he's going to have to go to the LCQ. Bruno De Barros, he's a vet in the series. He's not going to make it. Derek Hamill, Steve Newman, Daniel McMillan, Dane Amon, Jonathan Rains, Hans Muller, Johnny Leonard, Josh Cornish, and Fisher Gee, unfortunately, all do not make the show. But hopefully they'll resort everything in the LCQ. Anyway, that's going to wrap up Heat Race 3. Let's get the grid set up for the LCQ, and let's see who makes the show. And we're here for the LCQ, guys. Sorry for the long wait. Had to get the grid for the LCQ set. Had to get everything set up, but we do have enough to where it maximizes the amount of field per pit stalls, and we don't have to go into more than one LCQ. So top 5, move on. William Brock is in the booth here with us today. Hello, William.
Yeah, I joined here earlier, but you weren't even here.
Yeah, I was setting up the grid. That was my apologies, but yeah. So here we are, LCQ. Starting on the pole is Zach Ryan. Top 5 advance. What do you think we'll see?
I'm probably gonna go with. Let's go a bit further back in the field.
I couldn't agree more. People in the back, sometimes they get lucky, other times they don't. You never know in this case. A lot of 10-lap racing. Top 5 make it. Let's take a look at your grid. Zach Ryan on pole. Fisher Gee next to him. Greg Lee. Hans Muller. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. Bruno de Barros. Henry Williams. John Hankins. Jay Jefferson. Jake West. Daniel McMillan. Ace Garcia. Daniel Voiles. Justin Roberts. Eli Bright. Eric Monaco. Ben Crotch. David Richardson. Steve Newman. Josh Cornish. Carla Cobb, Johnny Leonard, Michael Canto, Jonathan Rains, Ergel Arvin Alonso, Derek Hamill, Nathan Stapleton, and Dane Amon rounds out your grid for this event. 29 drivers make the cut. 24 have already qualified. It's the LCQ, the top 5 that make the show. This is going to be good.
I definitely think it will.
Yeah. Good to see there. 10 laps, and we know it's a wreck fest. We know that we always keep the cautions off to create the amount of racing that we have, the short amount of racing we have, and still keep it green. This, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, you can never tell who wins, and you can never tell who loses, William.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the most important part of everything here, and I definitely cannot wait to see how it can go. Anyway, slowly counting down to the time. Just do a little skip ahead. Get this race set and ready. We are final 5 seconds before the start of the command to fire engines. Here we are. The engines will roar to life, and it's just going to be a dash after that.
Yeah, with only 10 laps on the short track, you definitely know this LCQ is going to be quick.
And we definitely know that. And Mr. Bruh, I believe one of your drivers, Henry Williams, in the field here today. He was running good at tracks like Thompson and Stafford earlier in the tour season, but coming here, it's the end of the season. I didn't expect him to kind of be in this LCQ. Do you think he could advance?
I think he'd be, I think he'd do very well. I could see him at least, advancing, if not winning this LCQ.
All right, green.
I think last season, if I'm not mistaken, he won, the first 3 races?
I believe so. Either that or it was this season. But regardless, green flag is out, and Josh Cornish already blew an engine off the start. Looks like he's going to fail to qualify the event. We have had a crash already. But yeah, there's Josh Cornish. I believe he's already blown an engine. That is terrible luck for him. He's not going to move on already.
Yeah. Ooh.
Derek Hamill. He's already spun. There's Zach Ryan. And the cut line so far, I believe,
I think
is Daniel Voiles.
You derped on pronunciation again.
I apologize, Elijah. Are you going to stay for the commentary?
No.
Okay.
What's the point of getting on here if you're not going to stay?
Yeah. Anyway, the cut line, I believe, is Bruno de Barros, but Henry Williams is battling hard to make sure that he gets into it, and he will take the 5th spot. So, like I said before, that's the cutoff. If you don't finish 5th, you're not in the race.
And here goes another driver right behind him.
That's Zachary Fitzwater. That's your Tour champion. Greg Lee, Daniel Voiles, they're already getting knocked out.
Wow, you know,
Jake West is not going to make the cut.
The position changes at this track are just going really quick.
Yeah, this is Concord. If you hit the wall and you're very close to your competitors, you have no shot. Voiles now in the Catberg seat. Eli Bright gets turned and will collect the Tour champ. And the Tour champ goes up and over.
Flip.
And there goes Eric Monaco. He made his first appearance on my channel. Unfortunately, though, he's not going to make the cut this weekend.
Wow, people are just...
Oh, that's a huge crash.
Wow, people are just wrecking left and right.
Yeah,
Crazy.
and this is preparing them for the event tomorrow for the Tour types. But Henry Williams is in the Catberg seat. I could say that. And I believe it's on the final lap. I don't know who will win, but I know who's going to advance. That will be Henry Williams, and Fisher Gee will make the top 5. They'll advance into the show. And I believe your winner... Whoop! Steve Newman goes around. He launched up the track. I honestly don't know who won. John Hankins won. That's who won. And Zach Ryan makes it as well. Let's take a look at your results. So your drivers that will advance into the show will be John Hankins, Zach Ryan, Daniel McMillan, Henry Williams, and Fisher Gee. I could say this, Mr. Brock, that you definitely called your driver saying that he could make the race.
Well, Henry Williams has definitely been holding his own, when it comes to the modifieds. So it wouldn't surprise me if he ends up getting a good finish in the main event, if not winning.
That is true, and I can say thank you for joining us here, Mr. Brock, and thank you all very much for watching this LCQ. This pretty much wraps up day 1. Don't seem to have any practices, qualifyings, or anything like that for any of the other events. Today was mostly based on the Tour types. And like I said, I thank you all so much for watching. I have been Alex Bonsier, a.k.a. Sim Racing Central, a.k.a. NRLOA official for this one. And we will see you all tomorrow for the main event. See you then, guys.